Hello, everyone. Welcome to the FutureDDS Dental School Experience Series, where we help you decide which dental school is right for you. Every school is unique and will offer a different dental school experience, and who better to explain what a dental school has to offer than the student who goes there. Our goal is to give you a first-hand perspective of every program across the U.S. and Puerto Rico, and ultimately help you make the best decision for you. Today, we'll be showcasing Noah Hervani, who is a first-year dental student at Herman Ostrow School of Dentistry of University of Southern California. How you doing today, Noah?
Hi, how are you? I'm great.
Cool. Well, definitely want to first say thank you for joining us. Take some time out of your busy schedule. But if you could, just let all the viewers know, give them a little bit more background about yourself, where you're from, where you went to undergrad, and kind of how you got into dentistry.
Okay, perfect. So I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I moved to California 4 years ago. I'm 22 years old, and my undergrad was USC. So I was in this pathway program, which was like a 2-year-long program for dental hygiene for you to receive your bachelor's degree. And then if you meet all the criteria, you get to progress to dentistry. So that's what I did. And what got me into dentistry was actually a hockey game with my best friend. We used to go to all the Atlanta Thrashers games, and my favorite hockey player, Vander Kane, ended up knocking out someone, and we saw this guy in a white, coat running on the ice, and we were like, what is that? Or like, who is that? And it turned out it was like the dentist. And so, I don't know, just that day, we kind of looked at each other, and I was like, I want to work with athletes, and I want to be a dentist. And she's like, I want to do sports med. And it just kind of progressed that way.
Wow.
So it just kind of happened. And then like with all my experiences, I've been learning more, and I've learned what exactly I want to gear myself into in regards to the dental field.
Okay, so sports dentistry, that seems like a niche that I'm sure a lot of people out there watching didn't really know about. So I guess what have you kind of learned about it so far?
So sport dentistry is definitely new. It's not like a specialty or anything, but it's more like you cater to the athlete's needs. With the dental hygiene program I did at USC as well, we implemented a lot of plans and programs, and we learned how to, write up programs and how to educate certain groups. Well, actually like a variety of groups. And one thing that me and my two friends did was we made this little program. It was our community oral health program. And we made like a plan and everything. And we went in and we talked to all the athletes who were part of the swim and dive team. So we got to talk to them, educate them on their diet, their health, the effects of chlorine in their mouth, their habits that they have, and just things like that, and just educating them. And so I realized like I wanted to start doing that. Like in my apartment complex, there were some athletes, like some basketball players and some volleyball players. So I sat down with them, I got to know them, I asked them questions, and it just kind of like everything kind of lined up for me, where I got the opportunity to meet like these two NBA Clippers players and just sat down with them for 2 hours, and I asked them so many questions, and I realized like, unfortunately, all these athletes are seen as a commodity, and we don't realize that. We think like, oh, they're living the life, everything's great, but in reality, it's like, that's not how it is. And it's like, you need someone to go out there and just educate them on like, look, like this is how you need to take care of your health. Like they all have access to counselors and dentists, but it's all about what you put in, and if you don't really have that education to know, oh, let me go to the dentist every 6 months just to get my teeth checked, they're not going to go. They're only going to go when they have pain. So I kind of want to change that and just educate them. Yeah.
Got you. So I guess if you could just tell us a little bit more about USC, exactly where it's located in California. How is that city for you? How big is your class size? Just a little bit more background information about it.
So USC is it's located in downtown LA, so in Los Angeles, near Adams Boulevard and Exposition. I'm not sure the streets, but there's a lot of great programs there. We have our own dental school. And there's about 144 of us in each class. They also offer programs to the ASPID students, which are the international students who are actually dentists in their own country. And they come here for a 2-year program just to get their degree in America. And there's so many specialties that we cater to. I believe all 9 specialties that we cater to. We do a lot of community service work just throughout California and honestly, like throughout different countries as well. Like recently, our DHOP program went to Panama, which is really nice. Our IUDA is going to Panama as well. So people have the opportunity to help others who are in need of dental care as well. We have, honestly, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. We have the best faculty ever. We are known for our faculty. We are known for our program, the connections. You're paying to get the top education, the most innovative things we are learning. And it's just a great opportunity. All the people you meet, it's like they each carry like a whole new story. And it's always such an exciting time. Your professors, they all are so qualified. So I don't know, for me, I think it's the faculty that really make USC so well known and such a great program. Because they implement to all your needs and they help you. And that's a nice thing. It's like they take time out of their day. If you go up to them and you're like, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I really don't understand, like, for instance, how to prep this tooth in this correct shape. They'll be like, okay. And they'll stay after and they will go with you and they will show you how to prep it. They will give you the best techniques, which burrs to use, how to hold it. So I really like that one-on-one aspect we get as well.
Got you. So when you were actually, before you got into USC, you say you did a dental hygiene program. But I guess what were some of the factors that you were looking at when you were looking into schools, and what made you ultimately choose USC?
So I actually, I graduated I moved to California right after I graduated high school. Okay. And it was that summer. My dad was like, no, you're not exploring California. You're going to go take classes. So I actually enrolled in 2 years of community college because I didn't really have any other options as well either. Right. And I started from summer, and I just started looking at different programs, and I always heard of USC, but like, I don't know, I guess speaking from my experience, like in the East Coast at least, or especially in like Georgia, you hear USC and you're like, whoa, like, it's like private school, it's an elite school. And it's just something I never really knew I could attain. You know what I mean? But it happened, and I kept going to all these Fight on Friday tours. I kept volunteering at different USC events, and they had this one summer program, which I attended as well, the Dental Explorer program. And like, that's when I really felt in love with USC. And I was like, this is like, it's either this or I'm just going to keep reapplying next year and the year after and the year after. Wow. And so I literally put all my eggs in one basket, and I got accepted into the Pathway program. And that's the thing. It's not just USC. I was like, I only want to get into the Pathway program as well. So I got accepted to that, like, right after I finished up or transferred my community college or from there. And yeah, so I just did my 2 years there, and it was really fun. It was a very tough program. It was like boot camp. By far the most toughest experience of my life, but they shaped me into who I am, and they definitely gave me all the skills I need to be able to succeed in dental school. Time management, they gave me, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, I feel like I really matured in that program, and I've learned like a new sense of respect. And without the hygiene program at USC, I don't know where I would be.
So it seems to be a great pipeline program for anyone who's looking at USC as a school. So I guess, coming from that pipeline program and, flashing back again right after that, how was the actual interview process? You say you put all your eggs in one basket. So are you like super nervous? Can you kind of walk us through that day? And
okay. So yeah, so I never really, so I guess let's backtrack to dental hygiene. So it's as if you're applying for grad school as a sophomore, if that makes sense. Okay. So it's like you go in there and it's like you're mixed up with the people who want dental hygiene and who also want the Pathway program as well. Who also want the Pathway program as well. And you can't, like, I just went in there being honest. And I told them I didn't really have much of a dental background, and it's really difficult to find dentists who will let you shadow. Like, luckily I had a boss who had a friend who like let me shadow him, but that was the extent. Like, I was in a room filled with like people who were all like, oh yeah, I go here, I go out to this country and volunteer. And it's like, your self-confidence kind of goes low, but it's like I had different aspects. I worked with homeless shelters. I worked with the Boys and Girls Club. I worked with agencies for dogs and cats. Like I did so many different things that showed that I was a more personable and open-minded person, which is what they want. I'm so sorry.
No,
Which what, which is what they want. So not everything has to be dental, specific.
right.
So I shared that. The interview process was pretty much 8 people in a room. They ask you questions and they pass around questions from a hat. They ask you questions about your ethics. Like they give you a case. I think mine was something like, what would you do if you saw your best friend cheating? And you have to read that and answer it on the spot. And my big tip is always be honest.
Yeah.
Always. Like you gotta be honest, you gotta be positive, and just always smile and just give them the answer to any question that you honestly 100% believe in. Otherwise, they're gonna see right through it, and you don't want to be known as a liar. And that's the first step of your whole reputation as well. And then I got into that program, and it was pretty much a 2-year-long interview for dental school. So I didn't really interview for dental school. It was more all the professors observed us constantly, from behavior to clothing to how we're doing in class. Every little thing, they were on top of us. So it was it was really stressful for me.
Got you.
But I mean, again, at the end of the day, if you're honest with who you are and you're an honest person and you don't throw people under the bus and you always have a smile on your face, you're positive, you believe in the best, you will get what's meant for you. So it just kind of happened for me.
Got you. So you went through this, I guess, unorthodox kind of interview period more so. Once you actually got into USC, how was that initial transition getting into the actual dental courses?
Wait, for dentistry or for hygiene?
For your actual dental school. So after you actually got into dental school. So you said this interview process kind of took the place of your dental school interview, right?
Yeah. Because it was that during my time in hygiene, it was a 2-year-long interview for
Gotcha.
That's the way I looked at it. So transitioning, it was very easy for me. It's just upstairs because I'm in that building. I already know so many of the faculty, not necessarily the dental faculty, but more so the hygiene faculty, the staff who work there. It gives you this kind of a confidence booster, to be honest. And it felt at home. I was okay, I'm here, and now it's I'm moving on up a level. So I'm on the 3rd floor instead of the 1st floor. And it's great because anytime I was a little hesitant or nervous, I'd go downstairs and I'd talk to my hygiene professors again. Okay. I'd be I miss you guys. And I'd they're my go-to. It's they're my family. They're my original family, and I always have them there for me, which means so much for me. But the transition was super simple. I already knew all the rules. I knew what is expected out of a USC student.
Okay.
So from that, I decided to run for class president because, I'm not trying to specialize either at this moment, and I don't think I will because, I'm trying to go down that sport dentistry path.
Right.
But it's I wanted to help other people have an easier time adjusting to this school. It's very different. People are coming from all over the country, Right. They want everybody to be happy, everybody to feel united and close together, and that was my biggest goal for people.
Okay, so after you got there, you guys probably did an orientation week or so. Mm-hmm. How was actually getting into a typical day in the life? Can you walk us through a typical class day for a first year student at USC?
So let's start with orientation week.
Okay.
They do some fun activities so we can all get to know each other. Everybody wear your shirt that you graduated from, and then people get to talk to each other and stuff like that. They had a lot of activities, which is great. It's a good icebreaker. Then they went through financial aid, different what's expected out of us. We got to meet the dean, the assistant dean, all of the very important people, the admission people. And then that Thursday and Friday, they put us into sim lab. So we get these huge boxes of just instruments and tools, and we go over all of them.
It's like Christmas Day.
And this is orientation week, not even the first day, so it's they're prepping us for the actual first week of school. So we're on top of it. From orientation week, you're expected to be on top of it. Gotcha. They give us our lockers. We go through there. That Friday, we start drilling. So they give us these little plates. Yeah. So it's we go through, we start drilling on these little plates and everything, making shapes. They tell us how to use the probe, how to fulcrum, all that stuff. And then we had our white coat ceremony that afternoon. And then that leads us to Monday. So pretty much our semesters change. So our schedules change a lot, with every semester. But fall semester, you had a lot of time to get to know your classmates. But I'm not sure if other people felt that same way. As I said before, like hygiene really helped me with time management. So I kind of knew how to have enough time to go out and meet people as well while staying on top of my classwork.
Right.
So a typical day, well, I'll just tell you a typical week because it's so different. So I believe Mondays we had cardiology, which was like learning about how to do minimally invasive procedures, like, drilling and stuff using Fuji. And then we would have PBL, which is a huge thing that my school emphasizes on, which is problem-based learning. So you're in a group of 8 people with the faculty. You're presented a case, and you go through part 1 of the case every session, which you meet up for 2 sessions a week. And what you do is you go through and you each like start making ideas, start hypothesizing like what's going on, what is this? You highlight the words that you don't understand. So you do more research. And at the end of it, each person is assigned like a learning need, which is your main topic. And you come into the next session, and during pre-session, you explain to everyone what you learned. So essentially, we are our own teachers. So it's like they're teaching us responsibility, and they're holding us accountable for what we put in, which is very important because when you graduate school, who are you going to ask questions? Like you need to know how to do research. You need to know how to be on top of it. And like that's what they're implementing in us our first year, which is incredible, but it is tough. It is tough. But it's doable. It's absolutely doable. And then Tuesdays were like, I think it was like another long day class. Wednesdays we had morphology with Dr. Monnier, who's well known. And we learned about the teeth and the aesthetics, and we draw teeth. They really break it down for us to really understand like how the tooth looks like. So you start drawing, you start doing wax subs, composite, all that stuff. Thursdays we had rotations or no school, and then Friday we had PBL again. So in my opinion, it's a very chill semester, but you are responsible for what you learn. So it's no more lectures like that anymore. Like, yeah, we have 2 lectures for those 2 long classes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But for PBL, like I know many people take classes like microbiology again, or, other classes like that. We don't do that anymore. It's like you have that in undergrad. And now it's like time for you to do your own research, teach one another, and you are responsible for your own knowledge. So that's, some people look at that as a downside, but I look at it as like they're preparing us for the real world.
Okay. So you noticed, or you mentioned that you guys actually start drilling that first week, and you get your white coats and everything. How is that progression going into clinic? Do you guys continue like first year helping out with the cyst, and then second year you start heading into clinic? Like, I mean, obviously you're only the first year, so you wouldn't necessarily know the ins and outs, but I guess.
So based off experience and like talking to upperclassmen and just like noticing it as well in hygiene, your first year, you're learning like about the drills, about the hand pieces, about that. You're learning how to make those minimally invasive like shapes and stuff. You're learning about different materials, how to use, like, for instance, well, we didn't use amalgam this year, but like the class before did. And the class before them, like a couple years before that, I'm sure they used gold. So it's all about acrylic, all these different dental materials that we use, and we all practice on our like little dummy,
Oh,
so we examine everything. It's as if that's our own patient. They walk around telling us to fix our posture and all that stuff. We order our loops the first like 2-3 weeks of school, or maybe month of school as well. And over time, like you see, like I know that the second years, they just finished their last TPX. And a TPX is like their last exam, like clinical exam, before they go into clinic. However, during summer, we as like hygienists were asked to come and become like faculty and teach them hygiene. So they began seeing perio patients throughout their fall semester and their spring semester of their second year. So perio stuff they do, but as far as drilling goes, they don't do that, I believe, until this summer.
Gotcha.
So it's more like prepping. All of summer, it's pretty much hygiene. And then spring and fall of second year, you start drilling, you start seeing patients for hygiene, and you're still working. You do pros, you do removables, you make dentures, you do all these sort of different, I don't really know what to call them. Different
like the different specialty courses, so you can I
yeah,
got
like root canals and stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't really have the experience. And then you move on to clinic, and then you start seeing your patients 3rd and 4th year, and then you still have PBL though.
Got you.
Yeah, so it's like first 2 years practice PBL, last 2 years is you're in clinic and PBL.
Okay, so it seems like, the schedule kind of favors the student in that you get a lot more free time to, move around everything. I'm sure it could still be hectic and stressful with, long days. But so how do you kind of manage, your work-life balance and your free time, just doing different things like that? Like, how do you kind of juggle that? And does USC kind of put things in system outside of the PBL style to help you out?
So it kind of comes down to the own person, I believe. Like, that's what I believe. I think it comes down to the individual, what you can be doing is if you start studying from day one for PBL, like what you go over all the cases and stuff, or not the cases, but all the topics that your group presented, then you're golden. You know what I mean? When exams come around, you're not worried anymore. You're like, yeah, I already know this. Let me just review. But human nature, we wait until the week or two before and we cram. Like, that's what ends up happening. We get no sleep, and it's tough on us. Those 2 weeks are actually tough because it's like our finals week are typically like, I guess 2 weeks, but mainly like that last week. And it's like you have 2 clinical exams to do. You have 2 written exams, and you have your PBL, and you have a T3. T3 is when they present you like a random case. You have 1 hour to like write all the notes you want. That night you go home and you have to like make you make those ideas actually in that 1 hour, but you go home and you do research and you have to put it on these 4 poster boards, draw concept maps, do all this stuff. And you go into class the next day and you have to present it in front of faculty.
Oh, okay.
So that's another grade. Yeah. And they're teaching you how to become speakers as well, how to become educators. And that T3 is mainly a way to test your critical thinking abilities. Why is it that you believe like this patient has this problem? Like, what led you to this?
Right.
Just thinking about your thought process. The PBL, it's MCQ, and that's like 140 questions, and it's tough. It can be on anything, and that's the thing. There is no study guide. You have topics, but it's like it's all on your own. You have to be on top of it. And then we have this thing called Combat, which is also part of PBL, and it's literally like 140 questions of all these, I don't want to say random images, but it's like all these images that maybe you've seen before, or maybe you've never seen before, all based on your research topics. So for instance, they'll show you like a mechanism pathway of a drug, and they'll blur out all the words. And keep in mind, like, you don't even know, you've never probably even seen this picture before. And it's like, what's label A? And you're just like, I've never even seen this image. But it's good though, because it keeps you on your toes, and you're like, okay, I actually need to, like, when researching, I also need to look up pictures, It's
really like a mix of like everything in one. It's kind of, okay, that's cool though. Kind of like that.
So finals week for us, midterm week, it's tough. But if you're on top of it, you're golden. You know what I mean? Like, you have enough time to be prepared. But so in regards to like time managing and stuff, it's more like, I don't know, if you look at my desk and on my walls, I have literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different calendars on my walls. I have 2 calendars here and my agenda. And it's like, I also work. So like for me personally, I know hygiene really taught me a lot because we had to take 13 classes. You had to know how to time manage. You had quizzes, exams every day. So for me, it's more of a way of like, okay, I make block schedules. I even have like an Excel sheet on my laptop where I make block schedules. I'm like, okay, 8 to 5, I'm in class. So this time I'm going to go to the gym. This time I'm going to do this. This time I'm going to do that. And then it's like, you have to go to bed at a certain time. You're going to lose sleep. It's school, like when you're passionate about something, you're going to have to make sacrifices. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to make sacrifices. So it comes down to the individual person.
Okay. So for anyone that's looking at USC right now, who's, interested in applying, what would you suggest that they focus on right now to put themselves in a good position to get in and be successful once they do get in?
Be familiar with USC's culture. Like, know what's expected of you. You cannot go into USC like expecting somebody to hold your hand. Another thing, which goes back to PBL, it's a wake-up call for so many people. Like, I know they do it in the interview, I believe, like a practice round of PBL, but people really don't understand what PBL is. And it's like, you have to be ready to teach yourself. You no longer have professors, like you're not sitting in class like all day taking notes on like microbiology or what does this medicine do. You're now responsible for your own future. And like that's my biggest thing is like be prepared, because if you are planning on coming to USC, it's time for you to take responsibility. Like otherwise you're gonna have a very tough time.
Understood.
Yeah, it's like your response. That's my biggest thing. Another thing is like when it comes to interviews, always be honest. Like they can see right through you. Be honest. Like that's my biggest thing always in life. Always be honest. There is no need to exaggerate stories or exaggerate your volunteer experiences. They want to see what type of person you are, because at the end of the day, you have USC's name behind you, and that's a very, very, very big deal, you know? And they just want honest, ethical people going out in the world and helping one another. Definitely do volunteer work. Don't just limit yourself to dentistry or dental related fields. Go out and like meet new people, work with low socioeconomic individuals as well. That was one of my favorite things to do, which was amazing because USC is very community health oriented. And for some people, it might have came as a shock, like, what? We're going to Skid Row? But for me, it was like, okay, I've literally like gave food over there before.
Exactly,
So
like
you know what I mean? Like
that's the community you want to serve. So it's like
become cultured. Like you need to become cultured, become open-minded. You work with so many different patients, and that's the thing. It's like a lot of people I know recently I'm so sorry. We're scared, and they're like, oh, so how do we treat like HIV patients? Like, do we double up? And it's like, no, you have to know what you're getting yourself into.
Got you. We're about to wrap up in a moment here, but I just want to, if you have any last words for, anyone interested in USC, what are some very unique things? And then also any advice for any potential dental student, maybe not interested in USC, but just in dentistry or dental school in general.
Okay. So here are some tips and advice. One, definitely go shadow a dentist. Know what you're getting yourself into. Some people don't realize like it's not just about the mouth. It's all about the oral systemic connection. Like that's such a big deal. And it's like the mouth is just the beginning of everything else. Recently with research and stuff, they're realizing like, okay, periodontal diseases, for instance, it's leading to arthritis. It increases the chance of heart disease, stroke, inflammation of the brain. What is that called again? Sorry. Meningitis or whatever. Yeah. Or yeah, Alzheimer's. Sorry. Another thing is, of course, as I said before, be honest, be positive, and do what you really want to do. It's all about your experience. Like, I don't look at dental school like, oh no, it's dental school. I look at it as like an opportunity for me to learn more and for me to get to know my classmates as well. School is not just about strictly school. Let me go home, study 24/7. I don't believe in that, because it's like, we're about to get really deep, but it's like, God forbid you were to leave tomorrow, pass away. You're going to reflect on your life and be like, okay, was this worth it? You always want to have a great experience everywhere you go. Get to really know your classmates. They become your family. And just have a lot of experience out in the community. Eventually it'll lead you to so many different doorways and pathways. Like, there's so many opportunities in the dental field. A dentist can do anything they want. So that's like my biggest tip. Do what you want to do at the end of the day that makes you happy.
There we go. Great gems, man. Nora, again, thank you for taking some time out, to sit with us and give us your perspective on your experience at USC so far, and give great advice to any pre-dent looking to, pursue school in any way. If anybody has any questions for you about your experience or about USC, how could they get in touch with you?
Okay, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Smile with Nora, Smile with Noura. A lot of pre-dents have been asking me questions. I always answer. I'm here for you guys. It's all about helping one another. So let me know what you guys need, and I will give you honest opinions on everything based off of my experience.
There we go. Again, on behalf of FutureDDS and all the viewers, we want to say thank you again. Best of luck for you to the end of the year, and then of course throughout your journey, the rest of your journey through dental school.
Thank you. You too. I'm so happy you guys are doing this.
Man, definitely. We're just out here trying to help. So I'm glad. Hopefully people get a lot of good information from this. Everyone out there, make sure you tap into what she's saying. These is great gems. And also pay attention to all the other, features that we'll be doing. We're doing every school across America. So hopefully this information helps you make the right decision on what school is going to be right for you and give you the best culture and the best experience for your 4 years going through dental school. But that's going to be it. Best of luck. to everyone out there. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so you know whenever we post some new content. That's going to be it. Thanks again, Nora.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. See y'all next time.